So, hello there. Hello there. Hope you're doing well. So, today, it's gonna be awesome. We are going to discover together how to do animations, how to make something move, how you can make your object, your stuff move in Blender, right? It's gonna be freaking awesome. You will see. It's not that complicated. The basics are pretty easy to get, and so trust me, in like 30 minutes, 1 hour, you will be able to animate anything you want in Blender. All right, let's go. So, before we start, my name is Romain. I'm a French 3D teacher. And so if you have to watch a video with someone that speaks bad English with a fucking bad French accent, but he's not that bad in 3D, you are the way you want to go. Okay? Okay, let's go. All right, so what we are going to do? We are going to, of course, start Blender, right? And I'm going to explain you the basics of animation. How do we animate stuff? How do we make something move in a 3D software engineer, right? So how does it work? Okay, so right now I will just create the default cube, right? You certainly have already, okay? So don't worry. If you don't know the basics of Blender, if you struggle to follow me here, don't panic, just check the video just right over there. Okay, here. Just check that. This is the video on the basics of Blender I just made like yesterday. So just watch it and come back here and it will be way easier, right? Now, what you're going to do to create a cube or keep your existing default cube the same, and I will explain on this cube to you how animation process work in Blender, okay? So, when you work in Blender and you want to animate something, you need to tell the software where to start and where to end, all right? This is the only things to do to animate a stuff, an object in 3D. So you need to tell, okay, at the beginning, I want my object here. At the end, I want my object here. And the software will calculate how the object will go there to there, right? So beginning here, and we're good, right? So all you have to do in the software is to tell him, all right, I want to have one object, okay, which object, where, and when. And this will be the start, right? Where and when. And I want the same object in another place, okay? Or at another place. Where and when. So how far in the future, right? So how do we represent time in the 3D software? Time in the 3D software is represented with frames. We don't want to use second, milliseconds, or whatever. We want to use frames because frames is a unit that is the standard for everything that is shot with a camera, right? So it's pretty easy, right? There is one difficulty though, is that depending on where you live, you won't have the same frame rate because the standards are not the same. In USA, for example, we have like 29 or 30 frames per second, but in Europe, you will have 25 frames per second. In cinema, it's 24, right? So all of this depends on historical and mechanical and practical reason, but right now, we don't have the same standard from where you live, but that's not a problem because today we have computer and internet, and the computer screen don't give a fuck about the frame rate, so you can watch and see whatever frame rate you want on your computer screen, on YouTube, for example, all right? So that's not the problem. We don't have this really, this is not really a big problem anymore, okay? So you just need to choose a frame rate, 24, 25, 30, whatever you want, and just stick with it, right? So what does it mean really, a frame rate? A frame rate is like, okay, let's take 24. 24, it means we have 24 frames in 1 second. So if we have 1 second of movie, we should see 24 different frames like next to each other, right? So this is cool because our eyes, after 12 to 15 frames per second, we start to have the feeling of a movement, right? We start to don't see the individual frame anymore, and we start to get the movement, right? So at 24 frames per second, we see the movement. We don't see the individual frame, right, anymore. So this is really cool. But you have to get that a movie is just fixed frame that you see really quick, right? And so this is what we are going to do today. We are not going to create movement in the software. We are going to create individual frames, right? And this is really important because this is how we calculate where the object should be at what frame, right? So where is the frame in Blender? It's here, right? This is the frame. So here I'm the frame 1, 20, 40. Okay, you get the point. So I will just go here and go in my property and check here my output panel, right? Just to see, you can see here your frame rate, right? And here it's 24 FPS frame per second, right? So you can choose your frame rate here. You will see that it will not change anything in Blender because all the units are in frame, but the speed at one Blender will read this frame will change, okay? Here I'm 24 FPS, right? Let's check at, for example, 240, so 10 times faster, right? Okay, you get the point? So the FPS is just how fast Blender can read the frame. And you can see that Blender is like stuck to 60 FPS. And this is normal. It's because my screen is stuck to 60 Hz, so it can't go faster, right? So some screen can, but my screen can't, all right? So don't worry about it. Just put 24. It's okay. If you don't want to put 24, another one, put another one. We don't care, right? Not a problem. But you need to know it, because if you are in 24 FPS, it means like 24 frame is 1 second. But if you are in 30 frames per second, it means 30 frames is 1 second. So your speed will not be the same, all right? Okay, so we put 24 frames per second just to choose something, not a big deal. And now we are going to create this famous start and end, right? So the famous start and end in Blender, in any animation software, is called a keyframe, right? A keyframe, it's a key on a frame, right? Awesome. So what's a key exactly? Because it could be a little bit misleading because it's not really a key to open the door, right? A key, it's just like a snapshot, right? You take the snapshot at a specific frame of where is my object, what are the properties, right? So what are the properties of my object at a certain keyframe? So we could call that a snapshot frame, right? A snapshot frame. Okay, so let's call this keyframe just to keep the standard, but you get the point. So you take a snapshot of the position of the object at one keyframe, at one frame, sorry, and this is called a keyframe. So how do you do that in Blender? Really easy. You take your object, you need to select your object, okay? Like every command, the keyframe operator works on the selection, all right? You put your object anywhere you want and anytime you want, all right? So I want my object here at the frame 1, all right? So you need to be on the good frame, so be careful here. Do not mess up your frames because you will have some weird results, right? So first keyframe here, my object is in the world, all right? I want it here, okay? I want to take the snapshot, tell Blender, okay, at frame 1 you are here. I just press I on my keyboard, all right? I press I on my keyboard and you see that I have now a little square here, right? A rotated square here. This means that, okay, Blender just said to me, all right, bro, I just took the snapshot. Your cube is here at the frame 1. No problem. I got it. All right. So this is cool. But like I said to you, to do an animation, you need at least 2 points, a start and an end. Right now, we only have the start one. We need to create the end one. So really easy. You just need to first change the keyframe, right? So I change the keyframe, for example, all right, 30, all right? So it's like 1 second and maybe 1 second and 6 frames, right? And I move my object, right? So remember, you need to first move your timeline, all right? And second, move your object. Because if you do the other way, if for example, I move my object and I move my timeline, you see that, oh, my object come back at its original point. Why? Because we only have one snapshot, one keyframe. And so because we have one keyframe, Blender say, okay, I don't have any other keyframe, so right now I will stay here, right? Okay, I don't know where to go next, so I just stay here, okay? Don't be mad at me. So we just need to first move the timeline and suddenly moves the object. So I move the object, okay, with G, grab, right, I move it. If you don't remember it, go check the video on the basics, right? And here, I just play once again, I just press once again, I on my keyboard. And when I did that, you see that I have a second square here on my 30th keyframe, right? 30th frame. So I have a second snapshot of the end of my animation on the 30th frame. So what now Blender does, it's really simple. It will like calculate what are the position of my square between these two frames, like this, right? Awesome, right? And so if I play, I think, oh my God, my square is moving, right? Awesome. But that's not really it, actually. Actually, my square is not really moving, and you need to get that. It's whatever I do, I always know the position of the square. This is not really moving. This is just calculating a ratio of the position of my square from the start to the end, all right? This is really easy to understand. For example, if my square starts here, right? Start here, and is finished here, okay? And there is 10 frames between them. Where is my square at frame 5? You know it. It's in the middle. Because we just take the full position and we apply a 0.5 ratio because it's the middle. 5 is the middle of 10, right? This is exactly the same stuff here. The same stuff is there is no movement. Blender is just calculating the position of the cube at the frame because it knows the start and the end, the start and the end, right? This is really easy to understand. And you need to get that because we can, if we want, modify the way Blender will calculate the position of the cube on the frames that are inside our two keyframes, our start and end, right? Okay, how do we do that? All right. So let's take something a little bit easier. I will recreate a cube and I will just make it move on the x-axis, right? Like that, it's not one axis, one value that moves. It's pretty much easier to get, right? So what I'm doing, I take my cube on the x-axis, right? And I press I, right? Once again, same stuff. I'm on the first frame, I press I. Be careful here. You need to press I with your mouse in the 3D view, right? Not in the timeline. Be careful. Once again, the keyboard shortcuts in Blender are contextual, so you need to have your mouse in the good view to have your keyboard do what you want, right? So I press I on my keyboard, okay? And here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to the 30th frame. I move my object only on X, so GX. Let's click to validate, and I repress I on the 30th frame, right? So now I have my cube moving, right? Okay. And so now I want to visualize, I want to have a way to visualize how my cube is moving from here to here, all right? What mathematical function is used to calculate the position of my cube, for example, here, all right? This sounds complicated, but you will see that in the Blender GUI, the Blender interface, is not that hard to get, right? Let me show you. We will create another panel, right? To create another panel, you go in the corner and you just click and drag and drop inside your corner, right? Inside the view, like this, right? And here we're going to go in the graph editor. The graph editor, it's a panel that shows you how your cube is moving between keyframes, okay? So just press N to remove the end panel here, right? And here we are, okay? I know my cube is just moving on X, so what I'm going to do is just hide the other one, right? Just to have something clear, okay? And so this is the function used by Blender to know where my cube is, okay? So let's check it together to be sure that is what it does, all right? So what I'm going to do here, I will take my cube and check his location here, right? You see this is green. This means there is keyframe on it, okay? So I set the value of the location here, right? And I check what the value here is on the red line, okay? And this should match, right? Because this is the same thing. So how does it work? On the axis here, on the X, right? X-axis, this is the time, right? I see it right now, you see? First frame, 20th frame, 35 frame, 40 frame, okay? And on the Y-axis, this is the value of what we are looking. So for right now, this is the value of the X location. Okay, so what does it mean is logically at the first frame here, my value should be like 8.2075, right? Or maybe 8.7. Let's check it. If I put my mouse here, okay, 8.7 or 13, right? That's check. Okay, let's check. If I go here, on, for example, on the frame 15, it should be 0 or practically 0. Let's check it. 0 minus 17 or 0.17, right? Here it should be minus 10. Let's check it. Minus 10, right? So you see that the red curve here is exactly how the cube will be on each frame. But what is really cool with that is the curve is not by frame, you know? You have something way smoother because it's a mathematical function. All is predetermined. It's not simulation here, right? So what I can do, and this is absolutely awesome, I can modify this curve in Blender without mathematical functions. That is really cool. I can just move this handle here, right? Of course, on the ground, this is mathematical, right? This is like, I think, 4 polynomial function, but we don't care. We just, us as artists, we just want to move our handle here. And with this handle, we can move our curve, right? For the man who, or the people who love math in you, this is like the Bézier principle, right? The Bézier algorithm. All right, so how does it work? If I move this handle, okay, the more the handle is big, the more the curve will try to follow it before to come to the next point, right? So now the curve do not follow the direction of my handle, but if it's big, the curve follows the direction of the handle, okay? It's like it's a tangent, and it's why this curve, this handle here are also called tangent, all right? So what I can do, I can move the curve to tell to my cube to move differently. And this is not, I'm not here, I'm not changing the position. I'm changing the time. You need to get that. This is a time tool. I change the time. What is it doing exactly? Okay. For example, what is the meaning of a curve like this? A curve like this means that at frame 1 to 15, I'm really close to 10. So my cube don't move here, or quite not. And 15 to 25, I move more and more quick, more and more faster and faster to minus 10. So visually, what I would see, what I would like to see when I see this curve is that my curve is slow, faster, every fast. All right, let's see. Do we see that? Slow, fast. All right, so slow, fast. Slow, fast. All right, this is what I see here. Okay, what if I want to do exactly the opposite? I want to do fast, slow. All right, let's see it. We see that if I want to go fast, I want to go faster. So visually, I want to go really early to this point. So I want to have this curve like this, right? Really fast, and I'm slowing down, right? You see the point? You get the idea, right? So let's see. Okay, fast, slow, all right? All right, very fast, slow. So much fast that at the end we are starting to believe that it's jump, right? So this is the way that you can use a curve like this to control how fast and how slow an object can be between two keyframes, all right? But to be fair, only two keyframes, only a start and an end. It's funny for a cube, but it's pretty shit for anything else, right? If you want to animate a character, you will need more than that. But the beautiful thing is you can have way more than two keyframes. You can actually have the number of keyframes you want. And this is pretty cool. So look at that. For example, if I want my cube here at the frame 20 to be, I don't know, here, I just need to move it, right, and put a keyframe on it. And so now you see my curve is changing, right? I have the first keyframe, the last keyframe, but I have a middle keyframe here that I can use to control, and I can use to control its position in time and space, but its handle too. So I can use its handles to control my speed, right? So for example, I can do this, right? Speed, slow, speed. And here, speed, really slow, and I come back, right? let's check. So really speed, really fast, sorry, fast, 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 slow, 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 fast, fast, faster, 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 slow. I come back, pretty hardcore here. The space is really, so the comeback will be pretty brutal. Fast, 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 fast in the other way, and I slow down. Let's check this, right? Okay. Fast, slow, right? Fast, slow. I can, if you want, stretch down my keys to have more frames to see what is going to. Okay, so how can I do this? I can just take all this key, and like in 3D, you can stretch your key using the scale operator. So I just press S, right? And so I will press 2 on my keyboard, so S2 and enter to scale my keyframes by 2. So my animation will be 2 times slower, all right? So let's see. I'll just make it, oh yeah, okay. So fast, slow, right? Fast, slow, fast, I come back, slow, right? Do you get it? Do you get how easy it is to completely manage your speed and your movement with your curve here, right? This is really important because with this curve, we can do absolutely anything and you can have the more realistic movement you want, right? So the most realistic movement you want. So you need to get it. I know that it's not that easy to get because it's like a little bit of math with a graph and you think, okay, we are an artist, we want to do in 3D, I don't want to hear math, but this tool is so fucking powerful. You need to get it, right? Okay. So to get it, what we are going to do, we are going to do a really simple exercise, but I love it. It's an exercise that takes the animation basics and put it in practice and give you something at the end, all right? So what is it? We are going to take this default cube here, okay? Well, to be fair, I will delete it and create a new one. You can do too, no problem. And we are going to make it like roll, all right? Okay, just for the fun, all right? So how can you do this? Okay, there is a little setup to put in place to make it roll. So don't be scared. It's not that a big deal, right? But we need to go, okay? So I will create a plane, right? Just to have ground, no big deal. And I will put my cube on it, all right? So one trick to know, it's the cube, it's specifically 2 meters on up, right? On it. So if I press G, Z1 and enter, I know my cube is perfectly still on the plane because I just move my cube 1 unit up, all right? And my cube is specifically 2 units in height. So I'm sure I'm specifically on the plane. Right now, okay, you see that my view is a little bit tiled, so I will just focus on the cube. I just press dot on my numpad, right? Okay. So right now, when I turn around, I turn around the cube. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to create a process to make the cube able to turn, right? Because we need to have pivot point to make the cube turn, because we need to have the cube turning around its edge here, all right? So I want its edge, this edge, and this edge, all right? To make it like, okay? So to do that, I will create 3 empties that will act as pivot points, right? And this is the basics of a rig, right? A rig is a system that can help you to animate stuff, okay? So maybe you think, why do not use bones? You can use bones. It's the same thing. It's just empty for the beginners. It's less complicated, okay? But at the end, it's a real production. We will certainly use bone and not empties, but not a problem here. So how can you create empties? You shift A or add here, no problem. And you create empty and plain X. You can do whatever you want. This is not a problem. An empty is just a position, a location, and a scale in the world. So do not be scary about this. Sorry, you can use anywhere, anything you want here. So I will take plain X, but I want my empty to be specifically on the edge. So what I can do, I can move my cursor 3D here, 3D cursor, with shift and right click. Right, shift and right click, move my 3D cursor. And the beauty of it is the 3D cursor is automatically on the surface or where I click, right? So if I check here, my 3D cursor is on the face, you see? On the face, right? Okay, on the face, right? You see, it's specifically on the face. So what I can do, I just can do, put my 3D cursor on the edge, right? Not a big deal. So right now on the edge, I can just shift A, right, and make an empty. okay? And this is cool. All right, what the fuck? Why are you not on the face? Okay, come on, man, come on, you can do it. All right. Okay, I'm on the edge, right? So I will create one empty here, one empty here, and one empty here. Sorry, I just said here, but I'm a little bit mistaken here. My bad. So one empty here, all right? Not a big deal. If it's not that perfect, no problem. We can move it after, right? And a last empty here, okay? All right, okay. So what I'm going to do now, I want to have this empty controlling this empty and this empty controlling this empty. So in relationship, I want this one. Oh, sorry. I want this to be controlled by this and this to be controlled by this, all right? It's a relationship like child-parent, okay? This is free, but this is free, but when he move too. This is free, but when he moves too, he moves. When he moves. So this control all, this control only this, and this control the cube. All right. So this is like this. Okay. So to do in practice is really simple. I just need to take the cube, the first empty, and press Ctrl P on my keyboard and keep transform. The next one is I take the empty, take the next one, Ctrl P, and key transform. You see that it's always the selection that is parented. So the selection becomes the children to the active object. Okay, remember on the basics, selection, active, right? If you don't remember it or if you don't see what I mean, go check the lesson of the basics. All right, it's in the description or on the left side on the screen. I don't know, but you will find it. I know. And here last time, so selection, active. Okay, I will just remove the, I will just hide the plane with H just temporarily. So here, Control P, key transform, right? Okay. So right now, what I can do is I have this. It moves the cube. It moves the cube and the empty. It moves the cube and the empty. So why do I need that? It's because I want to have this type of movement. Look. Yes, if I want to make my cube move, I need to have that, right? I need to have that, and after when it come here, I need to have that, right? And I have to have that. Okay, you get it? All right, so now we have it. Okay, I will make my ground here unselectable because it will make me fucking crazy if I can't select it. I already select my ground. So for this, I just gonna select my ground, go in my outliner here. I'm going to get here. So this little arrow here, and I uncheck it for the plane. So now I can only select my plane in the outliner, but I can't select it in my viewport. So really, really cool because I want to be able to select my empty without selecting the rest. And my cube, same thing. I will just make it here unselectable, right? So now I can only select the empties. Okay, so what can I do right now? What can I do right now? You get the mechanics, right? Okay, I don't know why do I have a keyframe here. Okay, so it was a keyframe for my annotate. Okay, so now what do I want to do? I want to create an animation where my cube is tuk tuk tuk, it's running, and at the end it's okay. I don't run anymore, right? So tuk tuk tuk, right? So maybe not really clear, but you will see this is pretty easy. So what we are going to do here, we are going to create the keys of our keyframe in 3 different steps. First one is the keyframe. The keyframe just, we're going to take the extreme of our animation and we are going not to think about anything else, just the extreme, okay? So just to illustrate that, for example, I want to give you a punch me in your face with my hands. How can I do that? I will charge and punch. All right. So there is 3 keyframe here. 3 keyframe. 1, 2, 3. The 3 extremes. Right. So this is what we are going to do. We are only right now going to think about the extremes. We do not think about the timing. We do not think about the details. Nothing about this now. Just the extreme. That's what we call the keyframes, right? So to do this, we just need to put a key on our empty, all right? So I will put a key on the first frame here, all right? next key. So I will just go on the next frame because we don't want to be able to have timing right now. We don't want to have anything else between the keyframe right now. Okay, so I will just go on the next frame, left arrow or right arrow. So left arrow here, right arrow here, sorry, to go on the second keyframe, second frame to do a second keyframe. The second keyframe will be what? It will be this empty, rotate on X at 90 degrees. So 90, right? Enter. And I press I to make a key. All right. So, and I can put a key here and here to be sure they don't move. Okay. The next keyframe, it's 3 here. And I just do exactly the same thing. I take this and I just RX 90. Okay. And I put a keyframe, right? Easy. And the last one, same thing. Okay. Right. So the last one, I don't want him to go to like 90. I want to like, all right. So it will be 45, right? A little bit less 45, like 44, all right? E. And last keyframe at 5, it will be like 0. So I can put it back to 0, pressing Alt R, right? Same stuff. Or I can put RX minus 45, same stuff. Okay, so this is now my keyframed animation. Okay, I have this, okay. You see that we don't see yet the movement. We don't see yet what we call the timing, because what we want right now is just separate our steps to be able to concentrate on little thing at a time, right? So now we have our animation. Awesome, right? But what we want to do now is to put the timing in it. So we want to have the understanding and the number of frames that we will have between the keyframe. So so this is a step called the timing. So how does it work? You just need to move your key around here, but you need to do it with all your empty selected, because your 3 empties have keys, right? And make it like there is timing. So how does it work? You just come here and you say, okay, to come here to here, how many frames do I need? Okay, 5, 10. Okay, let's try 10 to see how it goes, right? So I say all of this and I just G for grab and I put at 10, right? And let's see, right? Okay, pretty fast, right? Pretty fast. Maybe it's a little bit fast. Okay, maybe 14. And you will see that timing at first, it's really try and catch, right? If you don't have any reference of what you are doing, you will try, catch, modify. Don't be scared, sorry, to do like a rough pass on your timing at first. We will be modifying. We will use curve to have something really cool, but you need at the first to have a timing that is pretty bad, but just to make you get it that, okay, that's bad and I know why. Because if you don't do it, if you just want to have the perfect timing right away, it will be a nightmare, okay? So, all right, so, okay. Is it, okay, it's maybe a little bit slow, but okay, we're keeping it, we'll see. And so next one, same thing, right? So 15 frame, right? So 15, it's 30, okay, let's see. Okay, all right, a little bit slow to be fair. Let's try 10, okay? Let's try 10. All right, okay, I think it's better, all right. Here, so same thing, it's the middle, so let's try 5, right? And 5, all right? Okay, so really mathematical, not really creative, but just to see what it goes, all right? Okay, let's try. Okay, well, this is okay, all right, in timing, but I think we can all agree that this is pretty shitty, all right? Because this is not realistic at all, and I will explain you why. But before, I need to get that, all right? If my cube here, come here, it will stay longer here. So I think here, I need to put 10, all right? And we'll see what it does. Let's check it. Right. Okay, it seems better, right? Okay, so right now, it's really mathematical. It seems really robotic, right? And not realistic at all, okay? Why is this so shitty? I will explain it to you. It's because right now we are depending on the default curve of interpolation of Blender. And the default curve of interpolation in Blender, you will see that is like that. You already saw it just before, but let's check it, okay? So I will just select the first empty to see, all right? First empty, and the first empty is only rotate on the x-axis. So I will just remove all unless the x-axis. And you see that it's, look at this. If you want to move it, it's your middle panel, and you can click on control to, like, if you move up and down, you will stretch up and down, and if you move right, left, you will stretch like right, left your axis, right? So look at this. Here, I'm slow, okay? Faster, 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 faster. This is where I'm the fastest, right? And I'm slowing down, 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 down. But the movement I'm doing is not that. The movement I'm doing is, all right, all right, all right. I'm falling, 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 falling. And if here I'm falling on the ground, there is no fucking way I'm slowing down. I should be the fastest here, just before hitting the ground, right? You agree with me? If you take an object and you make it fall on the ground, the moment where it's the fastest, it's just before hitting the ground, right? So what we are going to do, we need to have not this fastest, slow. We need to have slower, slower, fastest, 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 and we need to have the fastest here. So what we need to have is this. All right? We need to have this curve, because now this curve thing, slow, 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 fast, 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 faster, faster, and the faster I am, it's here. And so this is a rule of thumb you can have. It's where your curve is horizontal in this graph here. It means that you are slow, okay? When your curve is vertical, all right, it means that you are very fast. So slow and fast, all right? Let's see how it does, all right? Bam, all right? It seems more real, right? Bam, okay? Okay, make it more, let's make it even more, all right? So even more slow at the end, and even faster at the end. Bam! All right, okay, okay, a little bit strong. All right, okay, let's see. Bam! Okay, not bad, not bad. Always a little bit strong. I give you that. I give you that. Bam! All right, okay. Always a little bit strong. I see that. Okay, let's see. Let's do that for the other. So the other, all right, it's different because he is going to have the energy from the back one, right? So at the beginning, he should start with already some speed, right? So what he's going to do is that should be already like that, right? He can't have something here, but this is not good because if I do that, it will like move here. It's, you know, it's you see that it's rotating, so it's fucking shit. So I will take this key here and I will just remove it, all right? Okay, right now, I start with already some speed here, okay? Right now, no speed. I accelerate and I go to speed here. But now, I have already some speed here. And this is cool because before, I just, all right? This empty here, where is it? Where is it? You, right there. He come on the ground really quick, all right? So it should be quick, right? It should be quick. So here, I need to get the energy of him, right? So I need to have some speed here, all right? So let's see how it goes. Bam, all right, not bad, right? Bam, okay? All right, but at the end here, it's not bad, but here, it's slowing down. There is no way it's slowing down. It should like slowing down here, right? Because it's like, oh, bam, but at the end, it should, all right? So how does it work, right? Here, I should slow down, right? Slow down and go faster here. So how can I do this? Right. Remember, when it's horizontally slow, when it's vertical, it's fast. So I can just do this. If I have that, it's fast, slow, fast. All right? Let's see that. Bam. All right? You get the point? All right? Okay, it's a little bit strong. So let's make it a little bit smoother and see how it goes. Bam, bam, right? You get the point? Bam, bam. Because we have this acceleration, we are slowing here because we are on the top of the curve, right? When you make something roll, right? Specifically a cube, it will slowing down when it go on before 45 degrees and after it will falling on the ground, so it will go quicker, right? So here we have this and bam, and we accelerate here. I think our slowing phase is just a bit at 50 degrees, and I would like it to have at 40. So I will just make it a little bit like that, right? Bam, right, okay. So last but not least, the last empty should be exactly the same at the beginning. So we'll take only the X rotation, we'll remove the first keyframe, we don't need them, right? Okay, and so what we're going to do is, okay, first of all, when you arrive here, you already have momentum, so we need to have speed, right? Like this, okay. But here, it should be really, really slow, so we can take this handle and just make it here, right? All right, and here, it just, of course, should have maximum speed, right? So here, this should be right there, okay? We should have something like this. Speed, slow, speed, okay? Maybe it's too much, but we'll see. All right, let's go. Right? Not bad, right? Do you get the point? Do you see the difference between now and before when we didn't do the timing, right? Right? Okay, so I don't really like this one at the end because it's just, I don't know, it's just, it seemed like too slow here. I want something really more brutal, right? Let's see how it is. Okay, that's better. All right. So we have the basics of our animation. We did 2 steps, but there is 3. The first step is keyframe, right? The second step is timing, right? But the last step is the details, right? And the detail here will be the bounce. So what I'm going to do with the bounce? What is bounce, right? The bounce here is specifically because of this animation. At the end, the cube is falling here, right? But it should be like, I can show you in bigger. When we fall, it's not like pa, right? It's more like pa 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 pa, right? Pa 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 pa. Okay, so it should be doing this, right? So we should have like some bouncing on the floor here. So how can I do that? Really easy. Look at it. I can just here, come here, and I just making another keyframe. So I will go back in the keyframe mode and just say, okay, here it should be like this. Okay, keyframe, and here like this keyframe, and here like this keyframe, and here like this keyframe, right? And so now, oh sorry, I just forget a key, all right, and Alt R, key, all right, okay, all right, But of course we have the key, but it's not framed. It's not like timed, so we need to time. So how we can time this? It's easier. We just make it 2 frames here and 1 frame here. You see the curve here? This is not cool. This is not cool because the cube should not pass in the negative, because if I let this, look at this, not cool. And it's because the curve should be boom, 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 right? You maximum speed, slowing down, maximum speed, slowing down, not maximum speed, slowing down. No, maximum speed, slowing down. So what I'm going to do here, I will take this under, I will just do that. But you see, when I do that, I'm making this fucking weird. So how can I move this under without moving itself? I can just take this under here and right click, and I can go here. Where are you? Okay, under type, and I just take 3. Now I can move this without being constrained by this one. All right, so now this is really cool. Okay, so this should be like this, right? This should be a little bit bigger. This should be like this. So what we can do, if you don't want like any curve, you just can scale it down, SX, and you scale it down. All right, and SX, and we have something like this, way better, right? So let's see how it goes, right? So let's see that visually. Tack, tack, ba, ba, ba. Right? Not bad, right? Ba, ba, ba. All right? Ba, ba, ba. Okay, so it's cool, but to be fair, our cube it's quite like in the ground. What if we want to have it like slide a little, right? It could be cool. So how do you do that to have him slide a little? What you could do is you can take your empty here and just you make it move when you hit the ground. So for example here, I can have him like move like 1 frame just here. All right, and what it's going to do is this, bam, you see? But the problem here is at this point, it will come back and this is not cool. So I will take my Y location, but because I move it on Y, and I will just remove this frame, all right? Okay, this was not Y, Y, X maybe. This is maybe Y, but I think it's way smaller, we can see it. So I will A dot on the keyboard, numpad keyboard. Or maybe it's X. Okay, it's not X, it's not Y, what the fuck? Okay, come on, man. You are moving, right? Oh my god, it's Z. All right, sorry, it's Z, sorry, my bad. So A to select all, right? And I just press dot on my keyboard, okay? And this is what I got. This is not good, right? So I can remove it, okay? Right now, so I get, bam, okay? And so now it's sliding a little, right? And I can make sliding too here, right? So I will do it. So I will check his Z keyframe. I can remove all like that. I have no problem. And the other here, I just come here and bam, right? Okay, so what I have got here is bam, bam, right? So he's moving again, fucking piece of shit. Okay, right now is Y. You need to know, bro. Okay, so A dot. All right, sorry about this. Okay, so just remove the frame after it, right? So this is what you got. Okay, and at the end it can move to right. Bam, right? So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to remove all the keyframe on location here to not be distracted. Okay, so here I remove all. Okay, right? I just need them before, right? And so here I'm create a keyframe, right? And here what I'm going to do is like, okay, you just move a little, right? So here you moved a little at the end, right? So here you just move right there, okay? But the movement will not be that, okay, well, this is only X, Y, so no problem on the other one. This is not like this because it should be really fast at the beginning and really slow at the end because you are slide and you slide, you right? So what I'm going to do here, I want to be fast here, so V, if you want to shortcut to change the handle type to have this in free mode, V, free. Okay, come on, man. V, free, okay. All right, and this is, it should be really, really, really slow, right? Okay, let's see how it goes. Bam, bam, bam. All right, you get the point, all right? Bam, right? Maybe we can even make it slide a little bit longer. Come on, once again, bam, 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 right? Right? Okay, this is our cube that is animated, right? Boop, boop, poo. All right? Okay, I hope you get it because this was how you animate in Blender. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you how you can transform this viewport shitty gray view in something that you can have in video because the point is, well, we want to have a video about it, right? So we are going to render our sequences in a video. How can we do that? We need two things. We need first a camera and secondly, we need a light, right? So what I'm going to do here, I will create a camera. So Shift A, camera. Once again, we already saw this in the basics, so I will go a little bit faster. So if you don't follow me, go check the video on the basics, right? So the camera, I will just go in it, pressing numpad control 0, right? Numpad control 0. And I will force my camera to follow my view with N here and view, and I will just check camera to view, all right? Right now I can move around here and I can see my cube. Okay, let's see here, is it cool? Okay, it starts here, so it can be here. We can play a little bit maybe with the focal length to have like the cube is really huge. It could be fun. Like this. Bam, bam, okay. A little bit here, right. Okay, focal length is a little bit much. All right. Bam, bam, boo, all right. So whatever your shot, that's not the big deal, all right? It's just to make something. So you can go out of the camera just pressing numpad 0. And we need, of course, a light, because right now it's already gray. So we don't even need to put a light in the outliner. We just need to put a sky texture, right? Remember the stuff we saw in the basics. So we just go in our shader space, right? So on the corner, you drag and drop. And here you come in shader editor, you select your world here, and you just put a sky texture, right? So once again, I'm going a little bit faster here, but we already did this in the basics courses, right? So here, awesome, all right? Maybe I can change the sun rotation a little, so it's like sun intensity, sun disk, but we can change the elevation, all right? Let's do for something like a sunset, right? And we can change the rotation. It's like where are the shadow, right? So for example, here, okay. Our cube, maybe we can put it like in red or something. So once again, you select your cube, right? So you can select it and make it selectable in 3D again by just toggle the button here, right? And you just new, right? And you just put the base color in red, for example, okay? And we can put a new color on the ground, but maybe you can do it black. Like this, we have a great reflection, right? Okay, so this is what we got, all right? Okay, once again, if you don't have the same render as me, it's maybe because you are in Eevee and not cycle. So once again, I will use the magic word that's called trust me bro and just take cycle, right? So trust me bro, take cycle, not Eevee. You can take Eevee if you want. To be fair, it's not really a big deal, but for now, it's simpler to get to make it in cycle. So right now, we have this, we just need to render it, right? We need to render it. So you need to get that if you press F12, right? We render an image, right? We render an image. But what we want is not an image. We want an animation. So how can you have an animation? Well, what did I explain you at the beginning of the lesson? I explained you that an animation is just a sequence of images. So what we are going to ask Blender is to render us, please render us a sequence of images. I know this sounds insane, but this is what we are going to do. So we are going to take Blender, give him a folder, and he will write every image, one image per frame in this folder. And we will use this group of image file in a video editing software to create a video at the end. I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but trust me, this is the way. Trust me, bro, once again, okay? So here, how can I do that? I will just ask Blender to put this in an animation folder. So I'll need to, in my output here, put the good folder. So here, for me, it's in temp, new folder, cube animation tuto, right? Okay, and what I need to do is to check the start and the end of the animation, right? So my animation start, okay, so yeah, no problem. So 168 is good. And I need to, right now, just hit render animation. Don't do it, my God, don't do it right now, because I need to show you something to optimize your render to be a little bit quicker, because it can be a little bit long. Especially if your computer is not that powerful. So what you are going to do, first of all, you are going to ask Blender to render your image, not on your CPU, but on your GPU, right? I will not explain exactly what's the difference, that's not the place right now, but just to know, depending on the GPU, but often the render is way faster on the GPU and not the CPU. But by default, Blender don't know about your CPU, so you may be like this. So you need to go in device here and GPU compute. If this is gray out, it's because you didn't tell Blender what GPU to use. Don't worry, I will show you how. You just go in edit here, preferences, system, and here you select your API brand from your GPU. How do you know? You can just try it out because the other one won't work, all right? But if you don't know, optics and CUDA is for NVIDIA GPU. If you don't know, if you have the choice between CUDA and optics, just take optics. Optics is like the update of CUDA. And HIP is for AMD graphic card, and 1IP is for Intel graphic card, right? So just take whatever you have on your computer. You select it, you close the window, and you just here take GPU compute. Right now you can render with your GPU, it will be way faster, okay? Second thing you can do, you need, once again here, it's just trust me bro, sorry, not the lesson to learn this because it's way more complicated to dive in it and we have no time. It's a lesson on animation, not on render setting. So just trust me bro, just put here in rendering max sample, you put 112. If it's too long, you put 256, right? And you just go in advanced, you check here, this little button here, it's for make the noise pattern random every images. And here in light pass, you just put this number. So 0 in diffuse, 2 in glossy, and 24 in transmission, right? And you uncheck these two blocks here, reflective and refractive, all right? Once again, it's trust me, bro. I know it's not that good, but this is a lesson in animation, not on render setting. Maybe, surely, we will have a video on the channel on render setting where I can dig really deep in this dating and explain what they are going to do and how do they work together. But right now, just trust me, bro. All right. So once you did that, you just hit render animation, and you're good to go. And you will see that Blender is like rendering each of your frame. Okay. For me, one frame is 3 seconds. So if I 3 seconds times 68, I have the time of my render. Okay. So do not freak out. This is not that long, right? If it's like 5 minutes a frame, it will make like 2 to 3 to 5 hours to render. Just take a nap. I don't know. Make it the night. Take a coffee. Go for a run. Do fucking something, right? But this is a little bit long, but no problem. Okay, I just did a mistake. My bad. Okay, no, I didn't do a mistake, but I didn't say to you to do it, so you won't have exactly the same result. You see that I have motion blur here on my rendering, but I didn't put it because by default it's activate, but you did not. So be careful. Just go in the render setting here and just check motion blur, right? Do not forget it. Okay, my bad. I forgot it because for me it's a default setting, but for you it's not. So check motion blur. Like that, your cube will be like a little bit blurred for the movement. This is what we see on real camera, so it's obviously really good. Okay, so I let this like the render to finish, and I go check with you just later to explain you how we can take this list of images, put this in editing software, video editing software, and have a video at the end. See you just after. All right, so that now our render is done, right? So how do we do? You can now close Blender, okay? So I will just minimize it. I will just open my file explorer to show you the folder that contains all my images, so you can see how is this, all right? So here, what we have is like all my image rendered, okay? You can check it if you want. Look at it. If I just look at that, here, this is what I have, right? Come on, man. Okay, all right? So what I need to do now is to put all these images in a video editing software and create a video with it, right? Really, really easy stuff, but if you don't know the process, it can be quite challenging. So how do you do? Well, it's really simple because Blender have a video editing software in it. Awesome, right? So how do? You just start Blender, right? And you create a new video editing workspace. So to do that, you need to go in Windows, in the plus here. I already have mine, but I will create yours here. Add here, right? Video editing and video editing, right? And when you are in video editing, you just need to be here in the sequencer, right? And you just press Shift A, right? Image sequence. You come here in your folder where all your images here are, and select all, right? Be careful. You need to have your image correctly ordered to be effective, because if it's not correctly ordered, your sequence will be messed up, right? So just ordered by name, right? Click in here, right? And up, we have our sequences, right? Awesome, okay? So this is a little bit not really fluid. This is not real time. It's okay, it's because it's a PNG sequence and it's pretty heavy. No big deal. Just if you want to render this, you just take your end frame here, right? And you just render this sequence in a video. To do that, you come here, right? FFmpeg video, encoding, and you go here and you take MPEG 4 high quality, all right? And you just put your file wherever you want, all right? So you need to be careful here, because you could say, well, okay, I don't get it. Why? Because, okay, just animation video tuto.mp4. All right. You could say, all right, what the fuck here? Why did we just not render our animation directly into an MPEG video here? Why did we pass? Why did we use at the middleman this little bit weird image list, right? So you need to get that your render can crash, right? Your render can crash, and if you render a video and your render crash like at the last image, you need to render all of it again, and you will see that later your render will maybe last days, maybe weeks, right? So you don't want to have to render everything again because one frame crashed. So what you do, you render a frame list, and so when a frame crash, you just render the frame that crashed, and so all the other frames are here. So it's a way to not have to re-render everything after. So just render in your image sequence, and your image sequence you put in the video editing software. It's way easier that way. Okay, so I hope this was exciting to you. How can I just render it? Like everything else, you just render animation, and you will have your video on your computer, and you can send this to your mother, to your best friend, to everyone. All right. So I hope you liked it. I hope you discover how to create a video in Blender and how to get the basics of animation. If you want to go way far away with me, if you want to learn more, if you want to create a real movie in Blender in 3D, you can just click here. It's free. It's a little teaching courses that it's doing, like I think 5 or 6 days, and every day I teach you one really big step to create a movie. At the end, of course, you have your entire movie, create, animate, and rendered with Blender. All right. So if you're interested in that, just click here. It's totally free. My treat to you. Thank you very much to have watched the video until here, and see you there. Bye bye.